Now for the other end, the perfect graft. These stitches have been knit in this direction. This is the bound off edge. There are the side stitches looking like V's. And these are the bases of those stitches going up. So my stitches are flowing in the same direction. Now I could do this in the same blue yarn that I used last time, but I can also use the yarn tail attached to the work. And if I go where the pink yarn went, so the pink yarn went up here, and then I go to my top piece of knitting and I find the matching side stitch. So there was stitch number 1, and often the edge stitches are kind of distorted, so you have to be a bit careful, and go round both sides of stitch number 1. Go back to stitch number 1 again, so I've connected stitch 1 to the base of its great-great-great-great-grandparent. And then I slide into stitch 2 following the waste yarn. So I'm still following the waste yarn exactly as I did before, and my stitches look happy on both sides. It's possible to be out of alignment on one or both sides, which would mean your graft actually wouldn't hold. And I'm trying to sew these stitches to the same size and shape as all the rest of their family members. I didn't leave quite enough of the original colour yarn to get right across the row, but that's not a problem. I've just re-sewn the same stitch again and continued with my contrasting colour yarn. And I'm keeping on going to the very far edge. You would need to allow about 4 times the width of tail if you wanted to use the piece of attached yarn. And here at the top you can see this stitch is quite confused. It's become twisted around. So if I pull on my waste yarn, I can reform that edge stitch and follow the waste yarn through. That requires a little practice, especially with fingering weight yarn. Once you know what you're looking at and how to recognize your stitches, this becomes quite easy. And back into its family member stitch vertically below. Now this may not look significantly different right now, but if I remove my waste yarns and then check it again, I don't have any wobbly bits at the edges. I pulled out my first waste yarn because that was a bound off edge. This is a cast on edge, so I'm actually going to have to pick this side out stitch by stitch. I've removed both waste yarns now, and you can see the fabric looks great. The fabric up here looks good too, but the difference here is that the edges match. There's no joggle in the edge, there's nothing sticking out. And here too on this side, it's a perfect match. And I have 10 stitches joining 10 stitches. We can't identify them terribly clearly because of the matching colour, but that's column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we've got 10 stitches, not the 9.5 that we had here. So using perfect grafting techniques, you can graft cables together, the top of a cable to the base of a cable, vertical lines, lace. There is no limitation. It's only a question of your patience and determination and practice. So we have perfect grafting, stitch heads to stitch bases, imperfect grafting, where the stitches come at each other in opposing directions and the sides will show the problem.